anxiety and all this other stuff. And it was just like, oh, so that's what a hangover is.
Yeah.
'Cause I never indulged so much to cause myself to have a hangover.
Right.
But now, now that I'm getting older and again, the metabolism slows down a little bit. Now, even just a couple just causes me to have that feeling of
Mhm.
anxiousness and uh, pain and muscle pain and, joint pain.
Mhm.
And, after a day it goes away and it's just like, oh, well, that's exactly what it was.
Yeah. Same type of shit. Definitely is, man. It just I don't know. I used to I I've changed my habits to try and avoid the hangover. Like I don't drink nearly as much beer as I used to because beer seems to give me more of a hangover than alcohol.
Hmm.
And brown alcohol does tend to give me a hangover, which definitely doesn't suit me well when I'm partying with Kelly. 'Cause Jesus Christ, her,
Right.
her and I throw back a lot of Jack Daniels, but and that's the other thing with the smoking pot. You really don't feel anything the next day. Maybe a little sluggish, a little, but more kind of like if you didn't get like if you went to bed and only slept like 3 hours. You know what I mean? Where you're like a little sluggish for the whole day.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I feel when I smoke a lot of pot. Is like I get up the next day and I'm just kind of trying to get moving and not getting going real quick. But
You're a little blurry.
yeah, a little bit. But then me being me, I get busy working and then it's like on. So then I shake the cobwebs off and get to it.
Well, I was watching, since we were talking about a lot of TV and stuff.
Hmm.
I was watched a documentary. I believe it was on Amazon. It
Okay.
was about Bad Company, the band Bad Company,
Right. Hmm.
and they were talking about the history of the band and you know the time that they were broken up for a while, and Paul Rogers went off to do other things, and
Right.
he went on to do. Um,
Mean.
well, he did that, but I was going more or less for the collaboration between he and Jimmy Page.
Oh yeah, yeah. The firm.
Yeah, the firm.
Hmm.
And then, the other guys in Bad Company regrouped
Right.
with what
Our
was
late friend.
Howe.
Yeah. Mike Howe.
No, no,
Steve Howe.
Steve Howe.
Was it Steve Howe?
Yeah, Mike Howe is in Metal Church.
Yeah. Or was it Greg Howe?
No, it's Steve. No, we had him on the show. Unfortunately, he passed away last year.
Yeah.
But they had a pretty good
Brian
success.
Howe.
Brian Howe. Yeah,
Christ.
I don't know.
He's
How.
dead Howe. How's
Mike
that?
Howe, Steve Howe, Ann Howe, Howe, and Howe.
Who are all these Howes? Who is
Yeah.
Steve Howe?
Maybe he was a baseball player.
Yeah, I think you're right.
I think he played for the Astros.
Steve Howe. Who the fuck
He's,
are you? Oh, who is he? He's well, there's one that's a musician.
well, there's
And Yes, he's the guitar player of Yes.
yeah, and then there's baseball player Howe.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember him. He played for like the Dodgers too.
I think he played for the Astros.
Did he? Let's see. Steve Howe.
Brian Howe, Mike Howe, Steve Howe.
Yeah, Steve Howe played 12 seasons in the major leagues. He was a pitcher. And he played for the Dodgers, the Twins, the Rangers, and the Yankees.
Okay.
Yeah. And he did something fucked up too, didn't he? He did. I know he did.
Yeah, he joined Bad Company and he changed his name to Brian. Just too many Howes to keep track of.
Yeah. He rolled his
I think that was even a Three Stooges skit, was the law firm of Howe, and Howe.
That's right. Yeah, he did something fucked up already. He killed himself. Steve Howe. He rolled his pickup truck and got killed.
Okay.
And a Of course, Wiki puts it in there. He was not wearing his seatbelt at the time.
Of course not.
Oh my goodness.
Ralph Nader was very disappointed with him.
I'll bet he wasn't wearing his mask either. Died of COVID.
Right.
Even back in 2006, he had
He
COVID.
rolled his pickup truck, wasn't wearing a seatbelt, and he died of COVID.
Yeah. Put him down in the COVID deaths. 2006.
Right.
First known case.
Sure.
Yep. Steve Howe. Dead. Brian Howe. Dead.
Brian Howe. And he's dead.
Any of these Howes alive?
Look at that. We're just dicks.
We're just, you know what? We're so sick of being cooped up. We're just in stupid mode tonight.
I think so.
Meanwhile, the yes guy looks like he should be dead. He's fucking still alive. He's 73 and still active. That guy, dude, he started playing professionally in 1964.
Yeah, when I was born.
Jesus fucking Christ. Retire already, old man. Jesus.
Well, that goes back to the point that I made a week or two ago.
Yeah.
Here we got musicians who were out there playing when I was born, and they're still out there playing. They were playing when I was born, and they're still out there playing fairly sizable venues.
Yeah.
When they do play.
This guy's probably going to be like Gordon Lightfoot, 90 years old, wheeling his ass out there.
Exactly.
Boy, that's a guy that should retire. Boy, that was sad watching old, hasn't had a sandwich in 3 weeks, Gordon Lightfoot fucking out there.
And I love Gordon. I met Gordon, and a very nice guy.
But man, just seeing him with a weak voice and weighing like 63 pounds.
And big ears.
And big ears doing it in the early morning.
I know his ears have has grown like 5 times.
Yeah, it's like the size of his head now. He looks like one of those Aborigines with the big earrings.
Exactly.
Got the big, huge ears.
But big Gordon Lightfoot fan. Got all.
Why is it that as you get older, your ears grow?
I don't know. It's a weird thing. I've read about that. It's just like as a man, for some reason, your ears never stop growing.
Mm. I could use them on one side to grow back. I got one fucking half blown off. But.
You got big Dumbo ears.
One. I'm like a fucking weird floppy dog. Just one ear. Just a pathetic piece of shit.
Yeah. But getting back to what I was talking about.
Yeah.
About the drinking and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So, as you're aware, back in the, I think it was the mid 2000s, the original lineup of Bad Company,
right,
got back together.
Mm-hmm.
And this documentary that I was watching, I guess bassist Boz Burrell,
mm-hmm.
he was like a major drinker. He just loved to drink. And they were talking about that, and I guess they were having like a 60th birthday party for him. It was like a delayed birthday party. It was like a week after he just turned 60 or something, but for whatever reason, they couldn't have the birthday party on his birthday, but it was like a week later.
Okay.
And I guess during his birthday party, he was just like, hey, life doesn't get any better than this. And he just like fell over dead.
Oh, wow.
Just died of a heart attack.
Out?
Just like that.
Jeez. Well, guess he should have taken better care of himself, huh?
Well, again, they really pointed out the fact that this guy liked to drink. I mean, he'd been drinking for decades,
mm-hmm.
you know, like excessively. And I try to, you know, and again, when you watch these documentaries, I don't know about you, but when I watch these documentaries and, you know, the lifestyle some of these people have, I put myself in their place. It's just like, man, I could never handle that. Yeah. There's just no way. When they talk about the excesses a lot of these guys go through, and you know, the amount of drugs or alcohol that they consume, it's just like, how did you even live to 60?
I know.
You know what I mean? It's just like, holy fuck.
Mm-hmm.
But
the sad truth is that when you see them when they are 60, they're a mess.
Yeah, they look like they're 80.
Like Jack Russell. Now, I mean, it's no secret that all those 80s guys, they say that the hardest partying band was Great White. Literally everybody but Motley Crue says that. Says that the hardest partying band was Great White.
Mm-hmm.
And look what it got him. Jack Russell looks like he got hit by a car like once a day for 10 years.
Yeah, Jack is like, I think he's like maybe 3 years older than me.
Yeah, and
And he just he shrunk like 6 inches. I
yeah,
mean, and he still sounds great.
he still sounds great, but he used
But
to be
boy,
6'3", and now he's like 5'6".
yeah, I've got pictures of Jack Russell and myself from 20 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And he and I are standing side by side, and he's maybe an inch taller than me.
Yeah.
And then in the last couple of years, when he opens up for Dokken,
Mm-hmm.
I run into Jack fairly frequently, and this guy is about as tall as my shoulder.
I hope you don't run into him. He'll fucking fall over dead.
I mean, it's just unbelievable. It's just like this guy towered over me by at least an inch.
Yeah.
And now he's like up to here.
And he's barely. It's weird how he gets off stage and he's just done. He's just like, he can't walk. He struggles, but then he gets on stage and he's fine. He's up dancing around, running around still. I don't get it.
Yeah, it's a bizarre thing.
Yeah, but he did. You're right. He still sounds almost as good as he did in the heyday.
Yeah, absolutely.
Voice is given out a little tiny bit now, but he's been doing it for what, 40 years?
At least.
40 years. He did so many drugs that his fucking insides rotted out. I'm not even trying to be funny. I mean, isn't that what happened to him? His stomach fucking rotted a hole in it because.
Oh yeah, he had to have a colostomy bag, and his intestine exploded, and this guy was fucked up.
But it was because it got weakened by so much drug use, right?
Drug and alcohol use.
Yeah, that it weakened his intestinal lining or his stomach lining.
The thing that got him the worst is he was using this prednisone, I think it is.
Mm-hmm.
And for his voice,
right?
And it just like destroyed his bone structure,
right?
He was taking the stuff that you're never supposed to take, like maybe twice a week, and he was taking it like every day,
right?
Just destroyed himself.
Yeah, he definitely torched himself. And I always wonder if it was just literally torturing himself because of the fire, because he always, and I know people always say, well, he fucking killed those people, blah, blah,
Yeah.
Which no, he didn't. But, I mean, he took that way harder than I think most people would.
Do you, I don't know if you saw the report, and speaking of other people that we know that have passed away, but I remember when that happened,
Mm-hmm.
and our friend long-haired Mike, who unfortunately passed away about 5 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
He called me. I remember that he called me. He goes, I remember it was like 6 o'clock in the morning here.
Right.
And he was just like, dude, did you see the news? Did you see the news? I go, no, what happened? And basically whatever it was, CNN or whatever, was covering that station club fire.
Mm-hmm.
And I was asleep. I mean, this was on the East Coast, and I was asleep, and I didn't know anything about it. He goes, dude, turn on the news. And so, at the time I was living at my sister's house because I had just moved here in the area.
Okay.
And I went down to her family room, turned on the TV, and sure as shit, they were covering this fire, and they were talking to Jack Russell, and of course he just looked devastated.
Right.
Like, yeah, they're trying to get people out, and we're not sure how bad the damage was, and all this and that, and just kind of interviewing them and anybody who would talk to them at the time.
Right.
But then a year later, or not even a year, it was just like the following year, I was out on the road with Don, and Great White was playing, and Jack was like secluded away from
Mhm.
everyone.
Right.
You know, he wouldn't even talk to anybody,
Mhm.
you know, and just kind of like stayed to himself and stuff. I went over to say hello to him, and he just, you know, he was just like, I don't even want to talk to anyone,
Yeah.
you know. So yeah, that's got to be devastating, especially when it killed 100 people and
Mhm.
injured so many others. But again, it wasn't him, and it wasn't the band, and
Yeah.
it wasn't anybody's really their fault.
Mhm.
It was just a bad situation that just took place.
Yeah. I mean, were there technically some legalities that were not followed? Yes, not by the band per se, but by the management of the club and I guess the stage manager, you know, but the band doesn't have nothing to say about it. I mean, dude, we've been with bands for a fucking 1,000 shows, and believe me, they don't know what's being set up. They have no idea what's being set up other than the instrument that they play.
Pretty much, yeah.
They don't know what's going on. Like even the lighting and whatever. The bands never know what kind of
They
lights are
they
being
they
set up.
show up and they expect the people to, you know, fulfill their rider, which includes the setup for the stage and the lighting and the back line and, you know, all the things that they need. And if it's there, that's cool with them. That's all they care about.
Yeah, that's
But
all they want to see.
they don't look around the club and go, "Oh, well, you know, that soundproofing is not, fireproof, and if we
Mhm.
use our little sparklers and our this and that, this is gonna catch on fire." Nobody thinks that way.
Yeah,
They just go, "Yeah, we're here to do a show, and they fulfilled all of our requirements, and we're just gonna put on a show."
yeah. And I mean, let's be honest. We've all been in bars that were not fucking, up to fire code. We've all been in them more than once, more than probably more than 50 times.
Of course.
You know, I would argue probably any of the small bars that I've seen show. Dude, there's been more than a few shows where I felt pretty unsafe at shows.
Well, and this is not to shed light on any one person, but you and
Mhm.
I have been to the Hi-Fi Club many times.
Yeah.
How many ways is there out of that club?
What, 2? The side door by the stage and the
And then the
front
front
door.
door. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
So
it.
if that place were to go up in smoke,
You're done.
yeah.
Yeah,
It's not like there's like a lot of options there, especially if you were downstairs in the recording area.
yeah.
I mean,
Well,
what were you gonna do?
dude, same with the what is that place? The one that I hate. Not the Agora, the House of Blues. In order to get out of that House of Blues, you can go there's like one door in the front, maybe two, and then there's up the steps. But if people are racing trying to get up those steps and out, you're not getting out of there. It's going to fucking bottleneck up the steps. Dude, all those, and I'll tell you, that's a place. That's the place I felt the most unsafe ever. And I'm not trying to shit on the House of Blues for that. I'll shit on them for their bad sound all day long, but not for their. I generally feel fairly safe in that place. But I was at a show at a Black Label Society show, and I mean, it was oversold by probably 300 people.
I know exactly what you're talking about because when I went to a BLS show
Mm-hmm.
here in Chicago at the House of Blues,
Yeah.
my nephew and I both went to that show.
Yeah.
We got to the top of the stairs, and that's as far as we could.
Yeah.
That's as far as we could go. The place was just as packed can be.
Yeah. And tell me that's fucking safe or
No,
up to
it wasn't
code or
nothing.
whatever.
We stayed for 5 songs, and we were just like, "Let's get the fuck out of here."
Yeah.
And we
Not worth
left.
saying. Yeah. I mean, dude, we've all been to shows that are not up to code. And that's the crux of small clubs. I mean, in the end, that's none of these clubs are up to fucking safety code. They're up to code enough to fucking slip the fire marshal a hundy and off he goes. Allegedly. But yeah, I don't feel safe in any of these fucking bars. Not usually. Do you?
No.
So. But yeah, I just again, I know I always say it. I hate that it was those guys. I hate that it's Jack Russell. You know, should have been Vince Neil or Bret Michaels or somebody like that. Somebody that's an asshole, not fucking Jack, who's a genuinely nice guy. You know, just sucks. It just sucks that it wasn't one of the assholes getting their due. It really does. And honestly, I don't even really want to put it on those guys. I don't want to put it on anybody, but it just sucks that it happens to one of the nicer guys in the business instead of, you know, the cocksuckers that you just want bad things to happen to.
Well, anyway, getting to back to the original point, if you want to see a really good documentary on Amazon, if you got Amazon Prime, there's one out there with Bad Company, and it kind of talks, you know, from the very early genesis of Bad Company when they Paul Rogers was involved with the band Free.
Oh yeah.
And you know how they basically formed Bad Company and how they became part of the Swan Song label.
Right.
And, you know, did what they did and how they kind of splintered apart and got back together and played some pretty stellar shows. And I know that you attended a Bad Company show. What was it, at the DT Energy Center or something like that, for like a wedding or something?
Yeah, it was was it DT, whatever. I think it was called Pine Knob still that back then.
Pine Knob. Okay.
Yeah, I think it was called Pine Knob, but yeah, I went up there for there's a DJ in Detroit named Steve Black. He does a guitar show, and Wardlaw is our friend Matt Wardlaw is a friend of Steve's, and we went up to that show, and Bad Company was the wedding band.
Yeah.
It was great. So Bad Company, you know, they came through the wedding, and then after that, then them and the Doobie Brothers played that night. It was great. It was a fun night, man.
Well, they talked about the limited shows that they were doing as Bad Company. They played like 10 shows a year or something like that. And, you know, they did a DVD and whatnot, but, you know,
it was something just to keep like the trademark or something.
Yeah. Right? Well, they talk about that they had to show that they were active in order to maintain the Bad Company name.
Right. Or else some scumbag would buy it.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. So they talk about that, you know, but, you know, just talking about, you know, like I said, Boz Burrell, who they were talking about how he joined the band, and they were just like, well, you know, he's not the best bassist in the world, but he'll do, you know. And they had a lot of success as Bad Company, obviously, and they did well. But you know, they're, you know, as with a lot of bands, when they churn out a lot of music and play and play and play, and they get burned out and whatnot. That's kind of what led to the you know, the breakup of the band,
right? Where
they came back with Brian Howe.
Right.
And they talk all about that. And if you like that kind of stuff, that's a really good documentary. But again, getting back to the whole use of drugs and alcohol, it's amazing to me, especially when they spell it out in these documentaries about the amount that some of these guys do. And it's just like, holy shit, how are you even alive?
Yeah.
And how did you live that long?
Yeah. The human body's fucking tougher than you think, man.
I know. I get that. And they, you know, of course, because they were involved with Swan Song and Led Zeppelin, and they kind of touched on Bonzo, you know, about his alcohol use, and, you know, but man, I tell you what, that is a tough way to live your life.
Yeah.
To be so inebriated all the time and drink copious amounts of alcohol and do, you know, tons of drugs and still be able to stand.
That's an awful lot of boredom. To be so bored that you just have to get yourself numb so that you don't have to deal with the boredom. That's fucked up.
Yeah.
I've always said that. I'm so glad I did not go into music. Not that I would have been a star or anything, but if the sun would have, shined on me the right way to where I would have gotten into like a big band or something, I would have been one of those guys dead at 28 years old or whatever.
The 27 Club.
Yeah, I would have been that guy, because I know I would have been doing just massive amounts of cocaine, and
Right.
I would have been shooting heroin, and I would have been doing every excess thing that you could possibly do. I would want to be that guy. I would want to be Keith Richards. That's who I would want to be, or
Right.
Axl Rose back in the 80s. That's who I would want to be. Just a drugged up mess that was just going out and playing my gigs and then just being fucked up. I know it. That the lifestyle of it never appealed to me. The whole living on a bus, traveling, being locked in with 4 other fucking guys or whatever. It just always, that's like, even I know, you every once in a while jump in the docking bus, or you used to, back before they just started doing fly-ins.
Just doing fly-ins. And, again, this past year, back in the early part of the year before the COVID lockdown, I mean, I was traveling with them for 3 and 4 dates at a time.
Yeah. See, I wouldn't want to do any of it. None of it. It just does not appeal to me. And the traveling in a bus, no fucking thanks. That just, to me, it feels even more restrictive than a plane. You're just on this little bus. There's only 4 people fighting over what's on TV and shit. Fuck that. Or you're sitting in your bed. You're sitting in your little tiny bed.
You're laying in your little coffin.
Yeah. Trying to read a book or some shit.
Yeah.
No, thanks. No, thank you. I'll take this life where I just do whatever the fuck I want whenever I want.
No, again, you're one of those people who made your way and, carved out your own niche.
Yeah.
And you do what you want to do, and you don't have to leave the house if you don't want to.
And believe me, the way the world is today, I don't want to.
Yeah.
I have no interest in it at all.
Yeah, I hear you. Well, speaking of people who are dictating to you and me how we should live our lives.
All right.
Because we look up to these people, and they are the ultimate voice of good reason.
Okay.
One of your favorite all-time people, Jon Bon Jovi. He teams up with Bruce Springsteen, a fellow New Jerseyan.
Another one of my favorites.
I know. And Jon Stewart.
Oh, you're getting all my favorites all in one place.
I know. I mean, how do you get so lucky to have all 3 of them collaborating together?
Oh God, I can't wait
on one thing.
Can't wait to hear what this is.
They urge New Jersey people to wear a friggin' mask and a distancing PSA campaign.
Oh, good.
I'm glad. Jon Stewart actually used to be funny about 30 years ago on MTV.
Yeah.
On MTV.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking prior to what was the show?
Daily Show or whatever.
Yeah, the Daily Show. He took over from Greg Kinnear.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Jon Stewart used to be kind of funny in a little way.
Yeah.
But he's become such a major douche.
Mm-hmm.
All of them have.
The only thing I will, and Lord knows I hate Jon Stewart, but I will salute him for his fucking public stance for the firefighters.
Yeah, well, that lasted about 10 minutes.
Well, he hung in there for a little bit. I mean, good for him. At least he stood up for it.
I agree. I'm going to agree with you, but that lasted a very short time.
Yeah.
Jon Bon Jovi has long been in New Jersey, and I'm going to use this term, and I know you're going to throw up. So, have your wastebasket handy.
All right.
A New Jersey legend.
A legend.
Born and raised in Perth Amboy.
And born to be my baby, apparently.
Exactly. And the Grammy winner frequently calls to his roots, using his massive platform to benefit the Garden State.
Okay.
How does he do that? How does he benefit the Garden State?
By telling people to wear a mask.
I guess.
That's beneficial.
He recently teamed up with Bruce Springsteen and Jon Stewart to urge fellow New Jerseyans to wear a friggin' mask.
Oh, brother.
In a social distancing PSA campaign and another surge in COVID-19 cases.
Did they do a song about it?
Well, they might as well.
Johnny doesn't wear a mask.
Exactly.
COVID's on the rise. He's going to die of it.
Exactly.
Ugh. Shut up.
Well, they're going to die, that's for sure. But
enough with this nonsense of these. I've said it before. I'll say it again. The one good thing that's come out of COVID has been the taking the gleam off of these fucking celebrities. They are no longer relevant, and thank God for that, because they don't have anything to fucking say. Enough with you and your dumb mask. If you don't want to wear a mask, don't wear it. Do you think that you're going to breathe the same air as me, Bruce Springsteen? Go fuck yourself. Go back on behind your gated community, behind your big wall in your mansion, and shut the fuck up. Go sing some more songs about the fucking broke fucking assholes in Youngstown.
Right.
Cunt bag.
The 58-year-old wore a face mask in an outdoor photo with Springsteen, who's 71.
How do we know it was Springsteen or Bon Jovi?
Yeah. And Stewart, who is 58, as they stood a safe distance from each other.
Oh, thank God.
Part of the New Jersey Pandemic Relief Fund's Mask Up New Jersey campaign.
Mm-hmm.
The image can be seen on a billboard above the New Jersey Turnpike reading, "Wear a friggin' mask."
Yeah, pal.
Springsteen posted a photo of the billboard to Instagram, writing, "Teamed up with fellow New Jerseyans to encourage everyone this holiday season to wear a friggin' mask."
Great.
They're saying friggin'.
Mm-hmm.
Let alone come together and mask up New Jersey so we can get back to what we do best, singing along and dancing together. Is that what they do best in New Jersey?
Apparently so.
That's what he said. Let's all come together and mask up New Jersey so we can get back to what we do best.
Right.
Singing along and dancing together. Mm-hmm. Okay. That's what I look forward to.
Me too.
New Jersey First Lady Tammy Murphy posted it to Twitter, writing, "As we enter the holiday season, it's important to stay vigilant about COVID-19.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're having an adult beverage after 10, COVID is going to get you."
Yeah, sure will.
Yeah. At Jon Bon Jovi, at Springsteen and Jon Stewart teamed up with New Jersey PRF. I'm not sure what that is. And New Jersey Department of Health to remind you to wear a friggin' mask.
Mm-hmm. Great.
It comes after 4,073 new COVID virus cases and 50 coronavirus deaths were reported on Wednesday in the state.
Great.
Wow, I'm looking at this picture of Jon Stewart. He looks like he's got AIDS. I think he's got more to worry about than the COVID. See if you could find a photo of him recently. He looks like he's got AIDS.
Maybe he does.
I'm looking at this photo and it's just like, Jesus, that's Jon Stewart? See if you can find a photo. He's like holding a microphone and like wearing a necktie.
Oh, I don't see that one, but this looks pretty AIDS-ly too.
Holy cow. This guy's like a year older than me, and he looks like he's like 10 years older.
looks like an old fucking retired school teacher.
Yeah, he's like 58.
Look at this fucking piece of shit. Jon Stewart. Wow.
Yeah, look at that guy. That guy's 58.
Yeah.
This guy's a year older than me.
Mm-hmm.
Looks like an old fucking dude.
Well, he's getting aged because he's not singing and dancing with his fellow New Jerseyans.
Apparently not.
It's making him old.
Jesus. Wow. Hey, look at me in the camera. Now look at this guy.
Hold on, I can flip you into a bigger picture here. Hold on.
I mean, look at this guy.
There you go. There's you and him. That guy looks like he could be your dad.
That's what I'm saying.
If your dad had AIDS, your dad probably looks younger than him.
Wow. He's 58. I'm going to be 57 on Christmas.
Jeez, oh man.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, definitely looking a little old there.
Apparently so.
Jesus.
All right. The CDC previously implemented new guidelines in preparation for the holidays as the country prepares for another surge in cases.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you think that is? Because of the freaking lockdown. That's the reason why.
You think that's why we never have cases?
Oh, absolutely.
I thought the lockdown was to make everything better.
No, it makes it worse.
What?
Yes.
Come on.
Springsteen, Bon Jovi, and Stewart previously teamed up with the New Jersey Pandemic Relief Fund for the New Jersey 4 relief benefit in April, raising $6 million. Well, how does the money prevent infection?
Doesn't. Who said, dude, that money, where do you think that money's going?
I don't know. That's the question. So they raised $6 million, and then what? What happened to it?
Well, once they paid him and Bruce, there's probably about 30,000 left. And
the Boss joined forces again with Stewart and a slew of other celebrities last week for New York's annual Stand Up for Heroes comedy benefit earlier this month, where they all wearing masks.
I would hope so.
Meanwhile, Bon Jovi can next be seen in the star-studded Vets Aid virtual charity concert, which takes place on December 12th.
Why, as much as I'm not for today's stars,
yeah,
the whatever Cardi B's or whatever of the world,
okay,
you notice none of them are doing any of this shit. There's no Taylor Swift speaking out for Californians against COVID or whatever.
No,
it's all these old fucking guys that have no relevance anymore. Who the fuck is looking to Bruce Springsteen to tell them to fucking wear a mask? Who's not wearing a mask that all of a sudden was like, whoa, wait a minute. If the boss says wear a mask, then I'm going to put one on.
Right.
I mean, who's doing that? Which fucking soccer mom is saying, wasn't going to wear a mask, but now that Jon is wearing one, I'm going to wear one now too.
Well, I'm glad he's encouraged me to think about my habits.
Yeah. Thank God for that. Thank God I got Jon and Bruce and Jon, the other Jon, to get me off my ass and put my goddamn mask on. Thank God. Yeah, good point. Where's Bono? How come Bono's not preaching about masks?
Well, is he American?
Yeah, but he preaches about every other fucking thing in the world. Where's his dumb ass to say, hey, I'm Bono from U2?
Right.
Put on your fucking mask. Ugh.
I don't know, dude. That's what we're dealing with.
I'm not. I'm not dealing with it at all. I couldn't give a shit what any celebrity says. They have no value anymore. None. Even the ones that are saying don't wear a mask, they have no value to me either. I don't give a fuck what any of them say. Like I know, I think Ted Nugent or something said something about not wearing a mask this week. It's like, who gives a shit? Unless Ted is talking about a fucking follow up to Crave Man or whatever the last thing he did is, I don't give a shit. Of all the people in the world, which one of those would you go to for fucking advice on how to live your life? Ted Nugent?
None of them.
Jon Bon Jovi?
None of them.
That's what I'm saying. Sing your fucking songs. That's it. And that's not even worth much anymore, especially in Jon Bon's fucking world. Ain't nobody buying that horrible album, that 2020 album. What a bag of shit that is.
Well, I'm glad he went back to his roots.
Yeah, he sure did. I don't know what roots those are, but tree roots.
I like that Behind the Music show, man. Very informative show. I was watching it the other day. I was like, oh my God. I didn't know Billy Idol liked living life to the fullest. I watched the Bon Jovi episode of Behind the Music. They kept using this phrase, and then he went back to his roots. And the next year he went back to his roots. I watched the whole show. I didn't see one portion where he strayed from his roots. It's not like they said in 1987, Jon Bon Jovi entered a New Jersey recording studio with just 4 sets of bagpipes and a woodblock.
This is dumb.
Yeah, I'm just glad that people have stopped giving celebrities any kind of fucking love.
Yeah, of course.
That part of COVID has been great. That at least now we understand that they're just fucking knobs like everybody else. They have no value other than their fucking job, just like everybody else.
Well, again, this goes back to, something I've said before. It's just like social media has caused people to be sheep. And they go, oh, well, what does Jon Bon Jovi think of this?
Yeah, but I don't know. Do you really think people are doing that?
Well, I think maybe earlier, perhaps. I'm not saying today. Yeah. But the hardcore fans may have gone, well, John thinks, and I know this for a fact.
All right.
That when I've spoken to people, this is years ago, not recently.
Mm-hmm.
But I've talked to people who say who are a Jon Bon Jovi fan or Bon Jovi fan, and I go, this guy's kind of a bag of shit. What do you mean? He seems like such a nice guy. Because I saw him on Oprah or whatever the case.
Yeah.
And he seems to really care about his fans.
Yeah, sure.
And it's like, well, you don't know people who know people in the business, and I know people in the business, and this guy's a dirtbag.
Dude, number one guy of all time in that level, Bret Michaels.
Yeah.
Bret Michaels, he comes across on TV like the nicest guy in the world.
Well, that's kind of where I was going with.
Yeah. But everybody that we know that we've talked to about him hates him. Everybody. And Jon Bon is the same way. Jon Bon is the exact same way. Every single person that I know that knows him can't stand him.
Nope.
There's a few of those guys that are out there like that. And it's almost sad for the rest of the guys in their band. Like I met John, he was a dick. I met Richie, he was fucking phenomenally cool. He was very cool, and he didn't need to be, but he was. He was just a cool guy. And meanwhile, now he's the one unemployed.
Well, I hope he's made enough money in his career that regardless if he's unemployed or not, he's okay.
I'd imagine he's fine because
I would hope so.
They're still playing Living on a Prayer and Wanted Dead or Alive 400 times a day on whatever classic rock stations are still around. Those are staple songs there, especially Living on a Prayer. It's ironic because it's such a fucking cheesy, shitty song from them.
Well, again, it made it, you know, it blew up big on commercial radio and MTV.
Yeah. Is there a worse song on that album, on Slippery When Wet, than Living on a Prayer? I gotta look.
Well, again, it was a high energy. It was a fun, you know, again, MTV was a huge,
Yeah.
you know, marketing venue for a lot of these bands. And
I'm not saying it wasn't successful. I'm saying was there a worse song? Here, I'm gonna read you the songs. Tell me if these songs are better or worse than Living on a Prayer. Let It Rock.
I like that song.
I like that one too.
I have heavier edge on that one.
Yeah, so that would be better.
Yeah, better.
You Give Love a Bad Name.
Yeah, it's a pretty good song. I like it.
I'm gonna say better because it's catchier. Living on a Prayer was just the answer to fucking Bruce Springsteen.
Mm-hmm.
That's all it was. Or John Mellencamp. It's the cross between Jack and Diane and The River.
Okay.
That's what it is.
All right.
It really is. I mean, tell me it's not a knockoff of Jack and Diane.
It is.
It's the total. It's like you took Jack and Diane and then Jack lost his job. Now he's living on a prayer because he can't fucking afford to eat.
Right.
You know, social disease.
Kind of a darker song, but still catchy and listenable.
Yeah. Better than Living on a Prayer?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Wanted Dead or Alive, I think, is a great song.
Yeah, of course.
Raise Your Hands.
It's that cowboy song.
Right, of course. Raise Your Hands. Fun.
Raise your hands on me. Yeah.
No, not that one.
Oh, that's Lay Your Hands.
Lay Your Hands.
Yeah, I get it.
Raise your hands.
Yeah.
Raise your hands. I don't know the words at all.
Well, that was a big song. You know, this whole album, when I'm looking at the same track listing,
yeah,
regardless if it was a hit or not,
yeah, they all
that whole album was almost like a greatest hits.
That is, I mean, all these songs could have been hits.
Yeah.
Yeah, Raise Your Hands could have been a hit. Now, Without You might be the one that's not as good. Because I can't.
Without Love?
Without Love, yeah.
Yeah.
How does that go? I don't even know that
one. All right, I'll play it.
Give me a little Without Love. Oh, yeah. I already know it.
But, you know, for the time, what was it, 1986?
Mm-hmm.
This was almost like strangely enough, they had a massive hit with this record, obviously.
Oh, dude,
because almost every song on it was a hit.
Yeah.
Every single song.
Well, the first 3 were hits. The 5th one was a hit. Never Say Goodbye, I think, was a hit.
It was.
And Wild on the Streets was a hit.
That's what I'm saying. There's 10 songs on this album, and almost all 10 songs were a hit, major or minor.
6 were radio hits.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Jesus. Yeah, it was a big album for them.
Huge.
And New Jersey was just like the same album.
Yeah, it was just, you know, it was Slippery When Wet Part 2.
Yeah, they just, and I would bet anything a lot of those songs came from these sessions because it felt exactly the same. But then that's when they started falling off too. It was right after that. Then it was just like, ugh. You know, Keep the Faith was okay, but it was different. And these days, other than Hey God was a good tune. And then after that, I don't even know what they've done anymore. Bounce and, you know, Have a Nice Day. And ugh. That's when they became corporate Jovi. Fuck Bon Jovi. Why are we talking about Bon Jovi? Neither one of us even likes him that much.
Well, again, because he was being douchey with this. Wear a freaking mask.
All right.
Wait, what do you know? Again, what do you know more than we do?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I listened to Dr. Fauci.
Well, good for you.
Yeah. Well, we've come to find out that Fauci is a fraud.
You know, the only thing that he knows is that he had a song that some people liked. That's it. He had a bunch of songs people liked. It doesn't make you fucking in charge of my health, you cocksucker.
I hear you.
Fuck him. Fuck his mask. Fuck the boss. And I hate it because now the boss, I'm a huge fan of.
I know you are, and I've never been a fan.
I'm a giant fan of pretty much all of his stuff, other than just a couple of albums here at the end of the career that are just, he's out of gas. But, I mean, I went way further than most people did with it. And I'll be honest, I love the album that he has out now, the All For You album, the newest one.
Okay.
That fucking kicks ass. That was just released not too long ago.
All right.
It's real good. But, some of the middle stuff here in the last 15 years, the, Wild Horses and shit like that has just been trash. But I'm a big fan of Bruce, but I wish he would shut the fuck up. I really do. He's one of those that he never shuts the fuck up about politics, and it has really challenged my ability to listen to this fucking bag of shit because I don't want to hear him anymore. I try to keep my music separate from my politics, and because this fucking asshole, every time I see him now, it's out fucking singing for Hillary Clinton or something. It's like, ugh. How working man can you possibly be when these are the people that you're supporting? You're not for the working man, you dick sucker. He's just not. How can he be for the working man and be out there for, raising funds for the people that are the ultimate haters of the working man?
Pretty much.
That makes no sense to me. Other than he just needed to fucking pretend like he was with the working man to make his money, I guess. Or he changed over the years. He probably was a working man in 1978. Then he became a millionaire and, changed his crowd. Wouldn't shock me if he was out on Epstein's plane. Would it shock you?
No, not at all.
He's got the money.
Of course. Money changes everything, as the old saying goes.
Yeah.
All right. Well, since we're talking about Jon Bon Jovi, I know you're a fan of the very early tunes.
I am.
So I'll let you pick a very early tune from the Bon Jovi or the 78 Fahrenheit or something like that.
All right. And I'm going to go from 7,800 Fahrenheit. I'm going to go with To the Fire.
Okay.
Or All right. Fire, whatever it's called.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll do that. It's To the Fire.
There you go.
All right. We're going to play a few tunes. We'll come back. So here it is. This is the hated Jon Bon Jovi in today's nomenclature.
Yeah.
This was back when he still was just kind of a, regular dude.
Yep.
So here it is. It's Jon Bon Jovi exclusively here
on your classic metal show.